What's up, guys? Cobra A here, presenting to you my first channel giveaway in the history of my channel. I'm just doing this kind of after watching a few YouTube videos on the community here on YouTube, particularly General Hand Grenades videos. I've been seeing a lot of giveaways being done, and I kind of wanted to get on the trend of that after posting a few pictures on Facebook and having people ask me about selling my pieces, and that's one thing I wouldn't be willing to do. Just the time and effort put into pieces and painting them, I think, is too great to be selling them, even for a pretty good cost. But I think a giveaway is pretty fun, and it helps build the channel up and gain more supporters. So, in this first annual Cobra A giveaway, I will be giving away my painted Afrika Korps set. Soon I'll be painting a second one of these for myself, so that is using different units. So for now, I think I will be giving away this one. These also include some of the surplus Afrika Korps pieces that I have. So let's see what you will be getting with this little Afrika Korps expansion set. And this will work as both a Global War 1936 set, in terms of you get all the infantry you're going to need, mountain infantry included, all the tanks you're going to need, tank destroyers, self-propelled artillery, heavy tanks, motorized infantry. And if you're just playing normal Axis and Allies, these all work as tanks, these all work as infantry. You can just use all these as just a variation of the units that you have. And it is fun to play a Global 40 and, put some of these Afrika Korps units into Africa if you do decide to invade. So let's go over what you'll be getting in this. A lot of the stuff's from my Germany painted video, but I have a few new things. First is the Tiger 1 heavy tank. You may notice that it's in a different tan color, and this was very common in the early Tiger schemes. I forgot how to. I really don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a German late war camouflage pattern, and the whole idea of it was to paint up the tanks and trucks and everything in this light kind of tan color as a base, and then individual units could spray paint various different shades of colors and variations to blend in with the certain types of camouflage. So you'll just be getting the stock tan primer color scheme from 1943. Next up we have the Air Force, a few of them. I've only painted up 2 because most of the time you're not going to bring more than a carrier's worth of planes into Africa for long-term use. And these are just regular Axis and Allies. This is the Bf-109 fighter and the Stuka dive bomber, and both of these have painted undersides. Plus, they are both magnetized, so they will stick to your carriers, and if you do not have magnetized carriers or flight stands, then it doesn't do anything. You can see it just looks like the bottom of a standard Axis and Allies painted piece. Next up is the artillery. This is just the standard artillery that you get in the base game for Germany. But this is something, a custom piece that I made, where I took an Anzac Bofors AA gun, wheeled mount, and I put this PaK 44 anti-aircraft gun for Germany and glued it on top of it after sanding it a few times. And I think it came out really nice. Again, this has a different tan color scheme because it was meant to blend in shaded environments, stuff like dugouts and such. So this just makes a good anti-aircraft piece in general. But if you want to use the custom rules I've made for this, is in the Afrika Korps expansion for Global 36, you can select 2 artillery pieces, up to 2 artillery pieces, I think 3 armored class units, 4 infantry, and and those basically can be lend-leased down in a style of lend-leasing down to Africa. And in Axis and Allies or Global 36, this counts as a it counts as an artillery piece if you're lend-leasing it down, or in regular Axis and Allies. And basically how this works is you, in Global 40, you send an anti-aircraft gun to Africa. In Global 36, you have to lend-lease an actual anti-aircraft gun down, and then it transforms into this. It is like an artillery and an AA, where it moves 1. It can attack like an artillery, exactly, with the same stats, or it can be used as an anti-aircraft gun and attack. And if you're playing with the expansion set, like everything else, it can retreat on defense. So, pretty cool unit. I like it a lot. Next up is the mechanized forces, and these are just the stock SDF KFZ, or SDF FDFZ armored car, or armored transport. This is just a stock piece painted up in my desert tan camo. This is the motorized infantry, the Opel Blitz truck, and sadly I can't get any wheeled variants on historical board gaming, and it does cost a lot to get these in with wheeled versions. The D-Day versions are about $3, and 3D printed versions are about $5, so I still think it looks pretty good, and with the big cover on the back, it looks like a motorized infantry truck. Next up is the Polish 38T light tank. Back when I bought these, I was trying to save a little money, so these were on sale. And Germany did use them after Poland was conquered, so that's your little light tank scout vehicle. Next up is your Panzer 38T, Panzer IV medium tank, and I replaced all of my tanks in Axis and Allies with these. The Panthers were just too, they were too big, and they just weren't really, I didn't like how they were such a late war tank to be represented in the entirety of Axis and Allies. So this Panzer IV was used a ton in combat in all theaters of war, but Erwin Rommel made a good use of them in Africa. Another cool painted piece. These, the Stug tank destroyers. I just got a big shipment of tank destroyers to paint up for version 3 of Global 36, and this was the first one I painted, and really nice looking sculpt. It's been out for a while, but I've got the painted on Iron Cross and the machine gun, the automatic machine gun on top. Cool piece. This is just your Hummel self-propelled artillery, which is a Panzer IV conversion. It's kind of funny because it just shows the diversity of the Panzer IV, because the Stug and the Hummel are both iterations of it, with its turret chopped off and a little bit of modifications. So pretty cool piece. I like all the detail inside. Lastly are the infantry. All of these are your normal Axis and Allies infantry, just painted up in desert colors. This guy right here has shorts on. And then lastly is the mountain infantry. And yep, these are pretty nice too. Just kind of a infantry with rifle sculpt painted up with the tan. So yeah, that's what you'll be getting in this expansion set if you do enter. And you might be wondering how to enter. This is very important to follow these instructions. First, you must be a subscriber to the channel, so you can just scroll down right now and hit the subscribe button. Next is to leave a comment down below saying that you would like to enter the contest, and that you basically I'm going to have you type up your favorite kind of lesser known fact of World War II, kind of like a stranger battle, a kind of cool special operations unit or event that took place. Just kind of something out of the ordinary, kind of like representing the Afrika Korps. It was kind of out of Germany's way to send down such a large unit to fight in such a strange climate and for very different goals than what Hitler had kind of developed over the years. So that's all you need to do is subscribe, leave a comment, and talk about your favorite kind of underappreciated battle or event of World War II. So the poll, I will pick the winner most likely next week, and hope that a lot of people enter. Thank you again, and Cobra out.